harder than ever for a young boy to come into a team like Liverpool. I mean, there's so much scrutiny before they're even in the team. It like has to write the life story, you know. I mean, if something like Kay Gordon, and do you sort of in a way look and think when you're younger or youngster, it must be even tougher now, especially with social media and all that as well.
I think it all depends on the team they come into. So is the team settled? Is there a clear idea of play? Is there people who really take care of the talents? The worst thing you can do is bring a talent too early, example. So players need to adapt and players need to understand and step by step progressing, making sure that the right development process is in place. And with Vito Mats, one of the assistants, he really takes care of the young boys, really gives feedback, and he really wants them to succeed. And if this is in place, then it's only time that young players adapt in the right way. So, if that answers your question.
Any follow up, Chris? So I think Paul had a similar question. That was also.
Yeah, I suppose it would be just like the external pressures, though. I mean, protecting them from that. Yeah. I mean, obviously, somebody like James Milner, he made his debut at 16 as well, and it must be invaluable to have somebody like that. But even in James's time, he wouldn't have had the external scrutiny, perhaps, that they do now.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes it harder. It makes it more responsible. What I see as well, it creates. I see talents coming through who are much more responsible than talents came through earlier. For an example, they know this world around there, that the world is a mad place, a crazy place, especially on the internet. So again, you need to a strong family environment helps, of course. So to take everything into how can I say, everything into logic, and a strong structure around the group is important. That whatever happens, that we try to help them. Yeah.
Okay, we've got to Dave Maddock and then Ian Doyle. Dave, you're next, because I think Paul's question was asked by Chris.
Hi. Obviously, one of your many responsibilities is sort of kind of guiding the pathway into the first team for some of the talent. And you say you have real diamonds, but I mean, it is interesting how these days Liverpool are at such a high level. You know, effectively, you've been the best team in the world. And how do these young players come through? Because you mentioned Curtis Jones, and I mean, he's played a lot of games, but he still is probably some way away from becoming a regular in the first team. So I was just wondering how how you can help them, or what they have to do to make that step.
First of all, Curtis is not a young player anymore. Curtis is a full member of the first 16, so that's really important. So there comes different responsibilities, and it's really important that we create this space in our squad for young players to be there. Say again your question.
I'm just wondering how.
I think Dave's point is that the level's so high, does it make it harder? Is that because Liverpool are much? Is that the point, Dave? And
what you can actually do, you know, you as a coach and with the structure to somehow get these young players. I mean, Trent's done it, but you know, maybe he's only one in 10 years.
But so example, that's what I like. So you need. If we go to the last 10 games of the season last year, the ones who saved us were Nate and Reece. Because finally we had two centre halves, we could bring back our midfield in place. So there went a lot of credit to them, but maybe not enough in my opinion. So Reece Williams and Nate Phillips, they came from the academy. They were with us from a very young age, especially Reece. Nate not as long, but they came from the academy and they made a difference. The moment we got injuries, only when they start like having this, when we put them into the game and with time and repetition, that process before was really important to help them because they weren't ready earlier, but on that moment they were ready, and they helped us so much. So there are so many examples of young players who helped us over the last years. And if you see what Harvey did, example, in the first games, and he's starting in the Premier League, so I think, to answer your question, is it harder to come in a good team for a young player? I don't think so. I think it's harder to come in a bad team, to be honest. It's harder to come in a team who doesn't play fluid football, or where the ideas are not that clear, or where the manager is shouting like a lunatic, or all these things. And that's what I like, because, how I said before, we put our identity and our culture in place the moment Jurgen came. And that's already 7 years of the same ideas, the same pathways, the same trust into young players. And that's something where the club can build on. And that's the only way you can bring young talent into a first team.
Brilliant. Thanks, Dave. And then the final question, Ian Doyle from the Echo, to finish us off.
Yeah, cool.
Just a question on Taki Minamino. Obviously, we haven't seen much of him this season. I mean, what shape is he in, and what kind of opportunities do you see him having over the next couple of weeks and months?
Yeah, Taki had a really good preseason, and I think it was really important for him after going to Southampton. What was a good decision at the time, that he came back and had a complete full preseason with us, training wise, and he made an impact in the preseason. We were really enthusiastic about him. So then he had a small issue, but he's back now, and we. With the national team, and he was not 100% fit because he came back early, but now he's good to go, and we're really happy that he's part of our team. And he has this. I said to Jurgen, he said, "Wow, the amount of times Taki comes 1v1 against the goalkeeper," and I said, "Yeah, it shows that you don't need like super speed to come 1v1 with the goalkeeper. He's a very natural, intelligent mover, and that's what we need. We need already in the last games, but now he has this good timings to move him behind, good combination play when the players are close to him. So he only can become better, and that's what we like. That's why we brought him in at that time, because we saw the potential, not the end product."